FUD is in the water again, and the SEC is up to their old tricks. We'll break it down for you and what they're doing with Robinhood. You guys don't want to miss it. My name is Paul Barrow. Welcome back into TechPath. Let's get started. I do want to thank our sponsor, and that is iTrust Capital. If you guys are looking at long-term holding, and the way to do that is in a crypto IRA, you can do that over at iTrust Capital. Very simple to join. All you have to do is jump over to their website, itrustcapital.com. You can open an account over there and you can get into Bitcoin, Ethereum, a handful of altcoins. You can even go into gold and silver. So it's a lot of flexibility. You pay no monthly fees. It's very simple. You just pay on the transactions you do within your account. Self-directed, very simple to set up. You can even transfer in IRAs from other places. So check it out. If it works for you guys, use our link down below. You get a $100 funding reward. Let's go into a couple of points here I want to hit on. And of course, the big news this morning was Robinhood receives a Wells notice from the SEC for their Bitcoin and crypto businesses. Now, this is a question mark as to what is it going to entail? What is it that Robinhood is perceived as doing wrong, and what kind of remedies would they have to do to get in a compliance scenario with the SEC? All of that still yet to be determined. But very interesting timing here. And if you guys remember last week, we were talking about this, that there's a lot of things that the SEC is going to be faced with this week, including a hearing, including the response to the Ripple situation. All of that is really most likely going to be bad for the SEC. And I think the normal tactics that they've done has always been do these timely scenarios that, of course, shift the narrative and say, hey, there's nothing to see here. Look at what we're doing over here with Robinhood. Interesting, as I said, timing. Robinhood tanks 5% after the SEC issued the Wells notice. And that's the whole point. If you look at timing for the Robinhood stock, remember that Robinhood is getting ready to do earnings right here on May the 8th. Boom. This is typical of the SEC. And this to me, I mean, I don't understand it. This is as close to market manipulation as you can get. I can't imagine that this isn't. This is a publicly traded company who has hundreds of thousands of stockholders who now got hurt immediately because of this kind of situation from the SEC. I want to go over and just kind of remind you of some things that have happened in the past. This is Robinhood talking a little bit more about their position, and this is coming from a former SEC individual. Listen in.
I've worked in the financial services industry for over 25 years and served as a commissioner of the United States Securities and Exchange Commission and as deputy director of the SEC's Division of Trading and Markets. We offer 18 digital assets compared to hundreds on other platforms. We don't offer yield-generating products like staking or lending. And Robinhood Markets is a publicly traded company subject to SEC disclosure rules, and we operate two highly regulated, registered subsidiary broker-dealers.
Couldn't you simply offer those tokens through your SEC-registered broker-dealer?
It's a very, very telling question. The answer is no. There are a few coins that have been noted in recent SEC complaints that we do trade on our platform. You would think with a major broker-dealer sitting on the other side of our house, our primary business, we could simply say, okay, SEC, you've just said these are securities. I'm going to go trade them on my broker now. It's impossible without regulatory relief and infrastructure changes in the securities markets. When Chair Gensler at the SEC in 2021 said, come in and register, we did. We actually came in. We went through a 16-month process with the SEC staff trying to register a special purpose broker-dealer. And then we were pretty summarily told in March that that process was over and we would not see any fruits of that effort.
And just for the record, what is the status of your registration effort presently?
I believe it's the technical term would be DOA.
So as you can see, this, of course, is Robinhood. They've gone by the rules of the road, and I think they've also aligned themselves in a very good position, possibly a better position, maybe even more so than Coinbase. So for this to happen to them, a Wells notice, just shows the kind of scenario that we've talked about many times, and that is government overreach that continues to be part of the narrative that's coming out of the SEC. So much so that this is now being looked at by Congress and the Financial Services Committee. This is going to be airing this week, and that's happening on May 7th. And this, of course, is the balancing deterrence with due process. The whole process that they'll be talking about is the level of overreach that the SEC has. So we'll see, though it won't be Gensler there. we'll try to bring some of that to you guys as it starts to resolve this week. I want to go to another clip here. This is Gensler getting grilled by Congress, and it's happened before, so take a listen.
And finally, I want to raise an alarming issue that I think needs further attention: the timing of various actions by the SEC while Congress is seeking to establish a regulatory framework on digital assets. To name a few, January 12th, 2023, this committee announces the formation of the Digital Assets Financial Technology and Inclusion Subcommittee. It was subsequently announced that the SEC pursued enforcement actions against 2 firms. March 9th, 2023, the committee hosts its first hearing on the Biden administration's approach to digital assets. An hour before the hearing, you publish an op-ed in The Hill. April 27th, 2023, the committee hosts another hearing on digital asset regulation. You tweet and quote office hours video on your view that most digital assets are securities. May 3rd, 2023, this committee and the House Agriculture Committee, led by my colleague Chairman Thompson, announced our first joint hearing on digital asset legislation, which is unprecedented. You published another office hours. I'm not one to connect dots, but it seems like you're actively trying to undermine the work of Congress. You must not impede our work to do our job, even though you won't do yours. I yield back.
If the gentleman wants to respond.
I very much respect the work of this committee, and particularly the work of this committee around crypto assets. We have a robust time because this is a field that's rife with fraud and abuse, and so our enforcement agenda sometimes does roll out while you're doing your good work here as well.
Yeah, okay. Well, normal game plan. This is just going to continue most likely until Congress and our lawmakers actually do something. That's really what it boils down to. I want to go to another scenario that is playing out right now, and that, of course, is the consensus lawsuit. Remember, timing is going to be also primed in a very unique way again, so prepare for more FUD coming. Listen into this clip.
Are you saying by filing this complaint, you're thinking that the ETH ETF approval, like the SEC is just not going to approve an Ethereum ETF, and that kind of like factored into it?
We thought it was over based on various communications that we have with people in the industry that they weren't going to approve in 2024.
We thought that we wouldn't need to bring the Ethereum action if the SEC was going to approve the Ethereum ETF, because that's sort of your best evidence to say, look, Ethereum's obviously not a security. This is just another instance of the SEC saying it's not in approving the ETFs.
This is all happening this month in May. Again, timing that is perfect for the SEC, the ability to kind of camp out on this FUD train that they seem to be really kind of pushing through. And remember, there are some other things happening in May right now that is going to be critical for the SEC. In fact, it may be bad for them, at least on the outside looking in. You look at this right here, XRP, of course, is getting ready to see their revised schedule for remedies. The SEC has their opening brief that's due on March 22nd. That was where we were talking about. And then Ripple's opposition brief was due on April 22nd, done. Now the SEC has to reply to that, and it's due on May 6th. This is all about the fine. If the judge comes away from this after looking at these briefs coming in, the judge may very well put this down to a 0 fine. The possibility is greater, and I think it's all going to depend on the brief that's coming from the SEC. So does Gensler know something? Does he maybe know his brief is going to have some problems? And if that is the case, great time to drop a whale's notice, great time to continue our efforts to deem ETH a security. All of this timed very in a way, I think that all of us have to kind of look at it and just kind of go, there's something up here. Let me go to another clip here. And this gets into a reminder where XRP is today. Listen in.
Well, save your applause for the next thing I'm going to say, because I want to emphasize here that after a nearly 3-year battle with the SEC, and the worst Christmas ever, the court has ruled, it's a federal court in the United States, has ruled that as a matter of law, XRP in and of itself is not a security. Yeah, that one, you can applaud all you want for that one. I mean, I could just sit down and let you guys applaud for the rest of my slot, because that was, that was an incredibly difficult 2.5 years. That was a dark, kind of a little bit of a dark time for us. Other than Bitcoin, XRP is now the only digital asset with regulatory clarity in the United States. Yeah, I'd applaud for that one too.
All right, so you can see that. I mean, this is still a situation where the SEC they got a black mark on their record. They lost that case. One of the key things that we will see a lot more of, and that is going to be stablecoin. And I think we're still up for some stablecoin regulation coming soon out of Congress. But you've got the EU already moving in this place with MiCA. And now you've got this coming in from XRP and Ripple. Listen in.
Once we started talking to partners and everything, it was going to get out one way or another, so we figured we might as well tell everybody.
David, is there a name for the Ripple stablecoin by chance?
You know what? You're just going to have to call it the Ripple stablecoin for now. I have been told that I cannot disclose the name on pain of death until... so come to Apex, and is it June?
It's next month, which is June.
Oh yeah, okay, so next month, come to Amsterdam, and I think you will be among the first to know the... Maybe we should start some betting pools about what the name is.
Yeah.
USD Ripple, USDR, USDX. So yeah, you guys can come up with a betting pool of all the possible names. Best of luck.
All right, so I like it. USD Ripple. That'll be the one to go. So USDR. All of this is timed perfectly. I think it's just a matter of time before we start to see some regulatory alliances out of DC. Hopefully that gets us going in the right direction. This is a big problem, I think, for innovation, and it will continue to thwart innovation in the United States if we don't get our act together. These overreaches, almost to the point, I think, that Gary Gensler is just toying with Congress. Very, very interesting time. So listen up. If you guys are not part of the Diamond Circle, make sure and get in right now. It's a great place to get additional content from us. And also, you get more content. We do additional content over there. We do all sorts of emails drops for you. So it's a very great place to kind of join in. The other thing you can do is, of course, follow me out there on X, @Paul Barron. Catch you next time right here on TechPath.